my truck. What the? I hate driving sometimes. I hate driving. You guys don't understand. Like, hi, hello. If you're new, my name is Mariana, and if you're not new, well, we've been best friends since lifers. I don't know what episode. We probably were friends since we were fetuses. Who knows? I don't know. It's been you and me on FaceTime every single time I have time. We yap around and we enjoy our yapping. Yeah. So it's been a while. As you guys can tell, I'm back to my car. I had to improvise once again to record because I still have not purchased any kind of car mount that doesn't make you guys jiggle like if you're at the club. So if you're currently currently I see you guys jiggling, but I'm not too sure if when I'm done recording and I go over this to edit, it's gonna show that you guys are jiggling a lot. So I don't know if it's just my reflection or not. But anywho, how are you guys doing? It's hot as out here. Like, I have a headache right now. I don't know if it's because of the heat, the lack of sleep, the too much sleep. I don't know, but I have a busting ass headache right now. I took some Midol. I didn't have any Advil or ibuprofen with me, so hopefully that kind of calms it down. But we'll see what's I get home. Because I still have to run errands regardless. So today is a driveway diary kind of episode. Honestly, I've been kind of MIA in regards to posting and editing and clipping and live streaming and whatever, just because I don't know. Like, I feel like I've hit a roadblock just because I feel like I upload, but not much interaction is going on with my videos, my clips, with whatever. Like, granted, I am still very grateful for all of the people who have started following me, whether it be watching me yap about nonsense and trauma or watching me destroy gameplay. And when I mean destroy, I mean like suck ass at it. But you know, I've enjoyed this journey. I've enjoyed seeing my community grow. I've enjoyed my community grow with me and comment on certain things, follow, share, stuff like that. But for some reason, like, I feel like I've hit a roadblock in the aspect that I'm not growing like I thought I would be growing. You get what I mean? Like, I see influencers, content creators, however you want to call them, and I see them go viral pretty fast or grow really fast. Like, I genuinely don't know what kind of magic or voodoo or whatever they're doing is making them flourish so quickly. It's probably because most likely they're more, I'm not saying that they're not relatable or if they are hugely relatable, but I just think that their content attracts people or grasps people's attention rather than mine. And I kind of like tried to like do the whole grasping concept, but for some reason I feel like I still am stuck. I don't know, the numbers are starting to get to me, so I'm not taking a break. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think I just need to do a 360 or a 180 or whatever the math angle I need to do to make this work so I can have more interactions with my community, with my audience and stuff like that. But anywho, that's more of a little rant. I don't even know if I'm gonna have this on here or edit it out. Usually when I talk about stuff like this, I edit it out just because I feel like it's more of a boohoo kind of moment, a rant or whatever. I do want to grow, I do want to comprehend, I do want to understand, but it's like nowadays I can't really grasp it. Like, I go to TikTok to see what I can do, and it's like you have to buy packages in order for you to become a content creator by other content creators, and I find that really scammy. And it's like, damn, why gatekeep? Like, if I were to flourish or explode or whatever in virality and content creation or whatever, like, I would literally help other people who want to be content creators. I would be like, this is what you have to do. It's just plain and simple. Like, I'm not going to charge people who want to grow and be better. Like, why do that? Anyways, that's my little rant and boohoo segment moment at this point. But okay, So with this driveway diary story time, I do well, now that we're talking about cars and whatnot, I will be talking about like 3 bad experiences I had when it comes to driving. When I got my first ticket, when I got into my first car crash, well, my very first car crash that most people don't really know. The only one who knows is my second oldest brother, but that's because he literally called me a dumbass for going. But and then my second accident that I did not cause, and then my third accident that likewise I never caused. So if you can relate on the fact that you don't like driving, continue watching, because I bet you for a fact you'd be like, damn, I don't like driving. Like, no, like it just sucks ass. So this was back when I had gotten my first ticket. This was back in, I think, when I was like 19, 20, or 21. So the thing was that I was still, during that time, I was still working my 2 part-time jobs. And this time, I clearly remember it was on a Tuesday because I'd never work on Tuesdays on either or job. So I had to go cover a shift on a Tuesday night closing for LA Fitness. So when it was time to close at 11, me and my sister were just like, okay, everything is closed, locked, everything's thrown away, it's time to head home. So I told him, like, hey, if you want a nap in the passenger seat, that's perfectly fine, and if you don't feel comfortable, you can sleep in the back, you know. So we're already heading home on the freeway. We're going I-85 north, heading to Gainesville. I don't remember, I think it was Greensville. Honestly, don't remember I just knew how to get home. So I was driving, and there was this one exit where I knew cops would always be posted, but it would rarely be at the time that I was heading home. So I'm driving, and I think I was going like 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. And I think, oh no, it's because it was construction. They were constructing on the road, and I was going 20 miles over the limit because it was supposed to be a 65, and I think I was going 85, and the cop had stopped me, and it was one of those cops from goddamn Brazelton County. I told my sister, I'm like, hey, wake up, I got stopped. And she's like, okay. So I'm like, act natural, because I don't know what to do. So I just knew from the videos I watched, put your hands on the steering wheel and say yes sir, yes ma'am to whoever, like, the cop is. So I get pulled over. I pull my window down, I turn off my music, I have my hands on the steering wheel, and the cop's just like, hi ma'am, do you know why I stopped you? And I'm like, well, I'm guessing it's because I was going over speed limit, I just don't know how much I was going over. And he was like, you were going 20 miles over the speed limit, and this is a construction site area. And I was like, I told him something. I was like, well, yes sir, but we're already past the construction point area. He's like, no, we're not. You see that sign? And I'm just here like, well, yeah, you stopped me beyond it. We're already past it. I could understand if you would have stopped me beforehand, but I was being respectful, he was being respectful, but then eventually I think he was getting annoyed, and he was just like, I will be giving you, he asked for my ID and insurance and stuff like that, and he asked to check whatever was in the car, and I'm like, go ahead. He checked, there was nothing. He asked my sister, and my sister was like, oh no, I was asleep or whatnot. Eventually he goes back, and I'm just like praying to the gods. I'm like, please give me a warning. I've never been stopped, I've never gotten a ticket before, please give me a warning. This man didn't give me a warning. Because you're like, here's your ticket, here's this, here's that, this, you call this phone number, this is the ticket, percent, sign here. And I'm just here like, what? I didn't say what, but in my head I was just like, what? And I signed the ticket, and my sister was like, you're such a dumbass. But I was already panicking because at that time I was so scared to let my mom know about this, because it wasn't the fact that I respected her. Yes, I do respect my mother, but I'm also terrified of her. Till this day, I'm still terrified of her. Like, legitimately, it's pure terror, being terrified of her. She's aware of it. I've told her, I'm like, like, you scare me. She's like, no, it's called respect. And I'm like, no, there's a difference between respect and being terrified of you. And I'm terrified of you. Like, that's the reason why I don't talk intimate stuff with you or anything private. But that's besides the point. So I get home and I'm like, don't tell mom, I'll tell her. So I'm laughing about this now because I got made fun of this by my brother so much that it is another reason why I don't open up. But I go tell my mom, but the thing is that at that point I was already having a mental breakdown because I didn't know how things were gonna go, and I started succumbing to a fever. I was getting a fever and I started crying, and I had told my mom like, hey, I got stopped by the police, here's my ticket. And I started crying, and my mom just looks at me and she starts laughing. And the thing is that I didn't expect her to be laughing at me. I thought she was gonna like yell at me, but I think what was worse was the fact that she was laughing in my face like, you were born here, why are you crying? Nothing's gonna happen to you. But it's like when you have those first experiences of doing whatever, like you're just, well, in my perspective, it's very scary, like it's very traumatizing. And the thing is that knowing my mom, I knew down in the pit of my asshole that she was gonna tell my brothers, and she did. And she told them that, you know, I got home, I told her I got a fever and I started crying, and I told her that I got a ticket or whatever, and the fence was going 20 miles per hour over speed limit in a construction zone. And my brothers literally started bashing me, like laughing at me, making fun of me. And to me, I didn't find that funny. I never found it funny. I found it very, not rude, but I just never found it funny. Till this day, I say I don't find it funny, but in the perspective of me going through those whole emotions all at once, it is funny. But anywho, they kept on making fun of me. They're like, you're born here in the United States. Like, the cop is not gonna do anything. Like, nothing bad is gonna happen. All you're gonna have to do is pay a ticket, go to court, and call it a day. But it's just that at that point, I wasn't financially good. I didn't have money per se to pay for a ticket that could be $1,000. And I was like, they're gonna take the car from me. Like, how am I gonna get to work? Like, my license, the points. Like, there were so many things going in my head that I couldn't really understand and navigate through it, just because it was my first time. Like, if I were to ask my brother or any of my brothers, like, hey, where do I have to go? Like, I don't know, call the phone number that's there. Like, I had to figure out things on my own without nobody's help, just because I had to. Like, there was no option. There was no option to ask for help. So they had made fun of me for months, I think, until when I went to court, I had, you know, pleaded my case. I was like, ayo, well, not like this. I was like, ayo, I wasn't aware that I was driving this fast in a construction zone. Like, I was just getting off of my part-time job, and I had to go to another part-time job in the morning, and then I have a math test. I had a math test the next day. Like, there's just too much stuff going on in my life that, like, I just wasn't really aware. And then, don't get me wrong, the judge was very nice. He was very nice. He was just like, oh, you're going to school? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what school? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to the community college called Gwinnett Technical College. He's like, oh, what are you studying for? And I'm like, at that time, I was studying to become a registered nurse. Did I finish? No. That just wasn't not my career. And he's like, oh, okay. So he had pardoned me. He was like, no points are going to be going on to your driver's license. And from the fine, I think of $500, you have to pay $350. So he literally just took off whatever amount from $500 and put it to $350 is. And he was just like, you can go outside and talk to the people or to the front reception or whatever, if you can pay it all in full or in payments. So that had happened. And then, like, I think a week after, we had to go, we didn't have to, but my brothers had planned a vacation trip to go to Myrtle Beach. And I literally couldn't have fun at all, just because I felt like once I get back home, like, I have to deal with this ticket. Like, I have no funds. I don't have that much money. Like, what am I gonna do? And the thing was that my whole family, except for my sister, my whole family, which is my mom and my brothers, were literally telling other relatives that were near us or around us or whatever that I had gotten a ticket, and they were literally making fun of me. And I literally couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the situation because it just made me even more sad. It made me even more distraught in the fact that instead of my family, like, what's the word? I can say the Spanish word. I can't think of the English word. But instead of like my family being there, be like, it's okay. Yes, they were saying it's okay, but it was such a mocking and making fun of you kind of aspect that I couldn't deal with. Like, I couldn't enjoy the vacation. I couldn't enjoy anything. Like, I was just here, like, this whole ticket making fun of me was looming over my head for months. And the whole fact that, oh, look, it's the cop. It wasn't the cop, but like, hey, yo, there's a cop here. Do you think that they're gonna, like, not give me a ticket because they know you already? Because, you're from here, you're from the United States. And that always loomed over my head for a while. Like, I couldn't let it go. Like, I was very anxious. Like, I just couldn't deal with that whole making fun of me. I felt very belittled. Now, you guys might think in a different way. They're like, no, they were just like having a little bit fun. Like, it's okay. Like, yeah, okay, but not to the point where literally you have to loom over that thing for months, including into a vacation trip. Like, I just hated that. I hated that. There's nothing else to say. Like, okay, so that was my first ticket. So my very first car accident that I had is when it was my first time already like working, but it was like that first time snowstorm that the snow never left Georgia. Like, I don't really recall what year this was. I just know that it was, like I said, between the ages of 19 to my early 20s. I wasn't really aware of the protocol and my job of what were to happen if it snowed, just because there was never like snowing in Georgia. Like, it never snows. Like, it wasn't a blue moon here and there that it does, and when it does, it causes huge accidents. So this day it was snowing and I wasn't really sure what to do, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to work. Nobody has texted me, nobody has called me, it is what it is. I'm just gonna go. And that day my brother had told me, my second oldest brother had told me, like, why are you going to work? It's snowing. You don't even know how to drive in the snow. And I'm like, well, nobody has contacted me for my job. Like, I have to go. Like, what am I supposed to do? What I should have done is called them, and if they didn't answer, I should have stayed home. But, lesson learned. So I had gotten the car warmed up or whatnot, and I had taken off whatever snow was on top. And then that day I went to go drive. I was driving slowly. I was very cautious, and there was a point where there's this like area, and it's like a slope that is a hill, and it's very, very steep. So I had gone through that area like I typically do, and the snow wasn't that caught yet, if you want me to be quite honest. So I'm going down the hill, I'm cautious, like, it's not slippery or anything. I get to my job and my job's closed, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's time for me to come back home. So I'm trying to come back in the same area of the hill. Once I get midway to that hill, I start sliding backwards. That's my worst fear. I start sliding backwards. I'm panicking, and I press the brake, and I'm just here like, I was there for like a hot minute because I don't know what to do. And the thing was that there was already like a car in front of me, and this car had also slipped, and they hit my front bumper, and that was my first accident. We switched, we exchanged like phone numbers and insurance numbers and whatnot, and she had told me that if anything were to happen, that it was her fault, and that if there's repairs needed, that to contact her. And yeah, then these next two car accidents were not my fault, 100%. This is with this car currently. So my poor blue car has already been into 2 accidents, not caused by me, but by the driver or animal. So this happened 2 years ago, and What was it? Oh, I was typically my job is a 9 to 5, but I have the privilege to be able to go in at 6:30 and come out at 3. So during this time, I was trying to work 12 hours so that I would have more time off, just because I guess I don't really remember what my mindset was. And at that time, my mom, my brother, and my sister were still living close to La Vaquita. At that point, I wasn't living with them anymore. So I had worked a 12-hour shift, and my mom was telling me like, hey, come over, like I have food for you to take home. So I go over, we chit chat a little bit. It's already like 7 something, and I'm like, I'm not gonna stay here for too long, like I have an hour drive to go back home. And she's like, okay, it is what it is. So I get my food that she packed, and I start heading out. And the thing is that I take the back roads. I don't take the freeway, just because I'm not really used to taking the freeway anymore. Is it freeway or highway? Which one is it? But I had it was time for me to go, and I was taking the back roads, and not even like 10 minutes later, I was hit by a deer, and my whole right side was kind of funky. It was weird, and I started panicking that I had entered a neighborhood that was close by. And I call my boyfriend, and I'm like, hey, a deer just hit me, the car's still functioning. Like, I was having a mental breakdown because I didn't know what to do. And he's like, is the car still functioning? Can you come back home? And I think he was working a night shift. So I told him, yeah, it's still functioning. He's like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And do you need to call the cops? And I'm just here like, I couldn't respond. And he was like, you know what, just go home, take pictures, send them to me. Once I get home, I'll take more pictures, we can call the insurance, and so on and so forth. So I take pictures, I send it to him, he looks at it, he's like, okay. He comes home, he takes pictures, and he's like, you need to call the insurance and let them know. And I've never called the insurance, never. So I just didn't know what to do. Eventually, like, I was still kind of I don't know, I was going through it. Like, I didn't want to touch the car, I couldn't drive, and I was just going through it. And at that point, we had to take the car was in the mechanics for maybe a week or so. I genuinely don't recall. And it got fixed brand new. But the thing was that at that point, I was just so scared of that area. I still go through that area, but I was so scared of driving through the area for months, and I was so scared of seeing deers. Like, I'm still scared of seeing deers. Like, I drive slower, I'm even more careful, but I'm still terrified. Sometimes I see possums, sometimes I see raccoons, platypuses, and I'm just scared. I'm just like, oh no, like, that wakes me up, especially the drive from in the morning. I'm just like, I need to be very careful, because I don't know, like, I'm just terrified. And I hate driving. That's another reason why I hate driving. Now, my third car crash, I didn't cause it. This car crash was because I had gone to my mom's place. My mom was in Mexico at the time. The thing was that I had gone over there at the time because my sister was like, hey, can you take me to go do an oil change, because it was her first time, she didn't know. So I go over there, we take the car that she was driving, we do whatever we want, we run whatever errands. After the oil change, we get back to the house, and once we get to the house, I tell him like, hey, I have things to do, like I have to go back home. So she's like, okay. So I was trying to exit that neighborhood, so I'm trying to exit the neighborhood as is. And the thing was that in this neighborhood, like, you have like a separate lane so that you can enter it, and you have the main lane for the road. So there's no speed limit for this neighborhood yet. Like, this neighborhood was still being built. I think it's still being built as is. So I'm trying to exit, and the thing is that, you know, I look left and right, and there's this one car, this black, I have things about Jeep Cherokees now, because it's always those drivers, always. They're always causing issues for me, even before the accident. So I'm driving, I'm trying to exit, and the thing was that I'm trying to turn to my left. Like, I'm looking, there's no vehicle coming. There was one vehicle coming after that Jeep Cherokee, so I was like, you know what, like, I have to wait until this car, you know, passes by. So this black Jeep Cherokee is coming to enter the neighborhood, and I was about to turn, but the issue was that this Jeep Cherokee had made a wide ass turn and started speeding and hit me in my driver's side. My front wheel rim fell off. My car shut off, and I'm just here like confused. Like, the lady, she comes out of her car, I'm shaking, and I'm just here like, what just happened? I'm so confused. What just happened? Everything was fine. What just happened? The lady comes and she asks me like, hey, is everything okay? Are you okay? And I'm just here like dazed. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Can you please call the cops? I have to call my insurance. She's like, no, we don't have to do this with the cops or the insurance. Like, we can figure this out ourselves. And I'm like, no, call the cops and I will call my boyfriend in the insurance. And she's very hesitant. She's like, no. And I'm like, you have to call this because this is an accident. You hit me. And I call my boyfriend. My boyfriend's already frantic. I'm frantic. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, at that point, I just have adrenaline. I didn't feel anything. I'm like, yes, I'm fine. I'm just going to call the insurance right now. Let them know. So I call their insurance. I let them know. I file a claim with them. And then I try to get information from their side. And they don't have insurance. And the lady who came out of the car wasn't even driving. It was her underage daughter who was driving. So the cops get here. They tell me that I have to move back, but I tell them like my car won't start. Like, it's not turning on. I didn't even know it was in the emergency brakes. I didn't know the emergency brakes were even on because I was still dazed. I was still so confused. I had to go out of my car to pick up the parts and pieces that had fallen out of my car, put them in the back, and I'm just here like, okay. And that's when the cop comes over. Before the cops get there, the lady tells me like, hey, I don't have insurance right now. I'm going through a divorce. Like, my daughter didn't mean it. Can we figure out this in a different manner that doesn't involve the cops or the insurance? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but we can't. Like, we need to go through the cops and through the insurance because I'm not gonna pay this out of pocket. I don't have the funds for it, and I didn't cause this. Like, I'm sorry, but you have to call the cops. So that happened. Fast forward back to where we are. The cops come towards me. They tell me what happened from my perspective. I let them know. I'm like, I was trying to exit. I wasn't really aware that they were gonna make a wide turn. It looked like they were slowing down, but then eventually, I guess she got scared, made a wide ass turn, and then she accelerated and hit me. Because honestly, if I wasn't there, that car would have hit the welcome sign and it's out of brake, and I think that would have been much, much worse. So I let him know. I didn't tell him how if I didn't reverse. I was like, I just didn't even realize she was gonna make a wide ass turn and accelerate and hit me. Like, I literally was at a full stop. It's like, can you, like, is there evidence that you were at full stop? And I'm like, I have my life 360. Like, I was at a stop. Like, how much were you driving before you got here? And I'm like, well, there's no speed limit here. I can't tell you. I was probably going 25 or 30 miles per hour. I'm not really sure. And he's like, oh, okay. And from there, he was like, I'm not gonna give the girl a ticket. It's her first offense, but you know, this will be under investigation. I know that you already called your insurance, and you know, if anything happens, I will let you know. And in my head, I'm like, how are you not gonna give her a ticket? She literally caused an accident that could have like either killed me because she literally accelerated to my side. On once the adrenaline did wear off, my back and my neck did hurt, and I had to let them know, like the insurance people, like, hey, they had called me again just to verify everything. I'm like, hey, I'm guessing when I had called, the adrenaline was high. Now that I'm not adrenaline high, my back and my neck hurts. I didn't go to the hospital or anything. I just took Advil and the pain kind of subsided, but that's it. And that's when they're like, oh, okay, like, we'll file this, like, we'll keep this into, like, you know, whatever. Eventually, they tell us to take our car. We my boyfriend had to put $500 down for a deductible, and eventually we got the money back. I had to pay for he had since technically I'm not a main holder in the insurance, my boyfriend is. He had to call a tow truck, and the tow truck was gonna take my car, but thankfully it was just the battery that shut down. So I just got wired, I guess you can say. I don't know what the actual term is, and my car started up as normal, and I only had to pay like $27. Eventually we had to send that to the insurance, and the insurance reimbursed me with the money. But yeah, later on we got some letters or envelopes or whatever saying that they didn't have the money to process this, and that they're gonna be dealing this with court. I'm not sure what happened afterwards, but that's what happened. And my car went to the shop, and it's brand new. So basically it got hit by a deer on the right side and hit by a reckless, scared teenager on my left. So yeah, that was, my car's been through a lot, and that's why that's another reason why I hate driving. I just hate driving in general. Like, now to actual nitty-gritty story time. Today I will be talking, I think this is like part 3 or part 2 of my toxic warehouse job. I don't know what part it is, but if you watch my other driveway diaries, I've already talked about that workplace. So this one is a cherry to all of that. Like, legitimately, I didn't hate the job. I'm gonna clear that up. I didn't hate the job. I hated the people and the atmosphere of that workplace. Like, if that atmosphere was not as toxic as it was, I probably would have still been working there. But no, I didn't, because there's just too much going on. Like, I already talked about it. I already talked about Lady Lorraine, and that's not her real name, but I've talked about her. I've talked about the know-it-all lead who eventually became a warehouse manager. I don't think I talked to full about her, but this is not a story about her. If I do have to do another story about her, I will. But for the meantime, we're gonna talk about the cherry on top. Now, this man, he's an egotistical. I don't care. I'm talking about him and his annoyances and how narcissistic and manipulative this man was. Like, for all I care to that man. So when I was working at this warehouse, it wasn't always hunky-dory. Like, there was always issues going on. Like, I've always was written up because I made so much mistakes that literally nobody was helping me until like I figured it out, and that's when I stopped getting, in trouble. But there was a time where the warehouse manager that had hired me, he no longer worked as the warehouse manager because he had basically leveled up to regional manager, and the warehouse assistant, he no longer worked there anymore because he also had gone to a different company, and they were giving him better pay. That's just a reality. So that know-it-all lead, he became the warehouse assistant, and then the warehouse manager position was open for like a couple of weeks or months or so on. Eventually we got one, and he was the warehouse manager from the receiving side. So he just literally just hopped to a new location, same company, and then eventually they hired somebody for the receiving. So he was there. People already knew him. Like, they already knew him. They already worked with him. And I had only gotten one like little thing that about him is that at the time, my coworker friend, she had told me that he didn't believe in marriage and that marriage was pointless, even though he is married with kids. And my coworker friend was like, yeah, he said that marriage is stupid, that it's not needed, that it's just a piece of paper, like, who gives a shit. So that was the only thing I knew of him, and also how he would shoot birds and that he was such a fanatic of guns. Those are like the only two things I knew of him. So once he got transferred and became the warehouse manager over here, he seemed very nice. He seemed very, accommodating, very, there for you kind of guy. Like, he wasn't into your face or into your business too much. But that's when, like, that's just the surface of him. Like, the real him is such an asshole. I don't know, like, I just don't like him. Like, usually when I know for a fact that I don't vibes is because I'm right. Like, I'm usually always right. But, you know, with him, he's my boss. Like, I have to go with whatever he says. So we're doing well. Like, we were working pretty well to a certain degree until there was one point where I had went up to him and I'm like, hey, I want to go back to school. Like, I want to go back to college, but I'm going, instead of nursing, I was going for accounting. And I had told him, like, hey, I'm going to school. But at that time, I was going to school in the afternoon, so it didn't really interfere with my work from 8 to 5. That was my schedule, from 8 to 5, Monday to Fridays, except when it was like end of the month for the company, I would have to work Saturdays and I only got one day off of the week. So I had told him, like, hey, I'm going back to school, but it wasn't going to interfere with my hours working. I would be going to school in the afternoon after work. So that had happened, and everything was hunky-dory. He would ask me, like, hey, how's school going? Like, is everything okay? Like, he was basically just asking, like, the normal questions, and I would be like, you know, everything's fine. Like, I have a test, so on and so forth. Like, I had online classes too, and, you know, that semester finished. Second semester, I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you. I was hoping you can accommodate with these hours. Like, can I come in later to work these days and I could stay later and recover my hours? You know, like, I was asking because those were the only availabilities he had for the courses. And he was just like, let me talk to HR, let me talk to, like, people and see if we can work it around. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. Or, you know, I can take this day off and come in Saturday and fix whatever needs to be fixed and still keep everything the same, me not miss anything and fix what needs to be fixed. Like, yeah, like, you know, I'll keep that in mind. Let me go talk. Not even like a couple of hours later, he's like, no, we can't accommodate it. I'm sorry. And I'm just here like, oh. But I'm like, but you accommodate to everybody else. Why can't you accommodate to me? Like, especially because it's school. He's like, I can't. I'm sorry. And he literally moved on. So then I'm just in my head, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go up higher. And at that time, my ex-boss, who became a regional manager, he was there, and I went to him and I'm like, hey, can we talk? And he's like, yeah. So I'm over here telling him my situation, and I'm like, he accommodates to everybody else. Like, literally, I'm telling this a month in advance for him to, like, be aware. Like, I want to finish this degree. Like, what do I have to do? Like, do I have to come a night shift? Like, I will do anything. And he's like, oh, I wasn't aware, like, that I'm aware of. He hasn't even spoken to HR. And that's when I'm just here like, oh, so this is how it's gonna be. Sorry if my microphone was way too close to my mouth, but I was like, oh, so this is how it's going to be. And so I was just talking to him about it, and eventually he comes in. The new warehouse manager comes in. Let's call him Jose. Jose comes in, and he's just looking at me, looking at my ex warehouse manager who became regional manager. And he's like, oh, am I interrupting? And he's like, yes, you are interrupting. Can you please close the door? Like, he didn't even knock. He just literally went in. And he saw me. And from there, he was like, you know, I will see if something can be figured out. And so on and so forth. Eventually, nothing was able to be fixed. I had to figure things out on my own. And things got worse. Jose was literally talking mad behind my back. He was telling people that I'm always up, that he always has to fix things, that he was always calling me into his office, that he used to talk to my coworker friend about it. He would also talk about other nasty things, and then he would talk to this other clerk who eventually did become another coworker best friend, and also about how he's going to fire me, that this and that he doesn't know why I went to go talk to his boss, yada yada this, yada yada that. And the thing was that people on the floor also knew about this. And in my head, I'm like, why are you talking about my business to people who do not need to be aware of this business? Like, why are you talking about, like, I have not done anything to you. I just wanted to figure out if I could literally get some kind of help because I want to finish my degree. Like, you accommodate to everybody else, but when it is coming to me right now, you're being such an asshole. Did I tell him that? No, because I'm not a really confrontational person. That was like the first time I was confrontational, when I went a step up to him, because I literally wanted to get this finished and done. And I recall that, oh no, this was my, it was my fall semester, because I remember that I had put sick pay to leave early because I was going to a Bad Bunny concert, and that was my first concert I've ever gone to. And he had told me, like, he had stated, oh, I saw that you put sick pay. And I'm here like, yeah, I put sick pay. He's like, are you going to that Bad Bunny concert? And I'm like, yes I am. He's like, oh, so you have time for Bad Bunny, but you don't have time to work here? And I looked at him and I'm like, I didn't say anything. I literally was like, I said bye to everybody else except for him. He's like, you're not gonna say bye to me? And I literally didn't say anything. And he started to talk more about me towards my friend. And I'm just here like, why? Like, why on earth do you have to be such an egotistical asshole? Like, what is it bringing benefit to you? That at some point, I think I couldn't handle it anymore. Like, I would go to work and I would cry before clocking in. I would cry when I would go out for lunch. I would cry clocking in back to lunch. I would cry when it was time for me to head out. Like, I couldn't be in a room alone with him because he, like, I felt so watched, so bullied, so I felt so many things. Like, I just couldn't like stand it. That at some point, eventually, when my coworker friends told me what he was telling them, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to HR. That was the first time I went to HR to complain about somebody. And all the jobs I worked, that's my first time. That day, I think I had to take my mom somewhere, and I told him like, hey, I need to go to the plant and speak to HR regarding something that's happening to me that honestly I am not, like, it's making me depressed. Like, it's literally making me feel some kind of way. And my mom, like, she wasn't aware of it because I was already going through like a rough time with her, that I was just like, I don't feel so confident to tell her, because then she's gonna be saying like, it's work. Why? Like, why are you making this such a mess, a fuss or whatever? So I go to HR, I let them know what's going on, and at that point I'm crying. Thankfully, that HR lady, she was really nice and she had her own office, but I was crying because I couldn't, in my head, I thought I was doing something so wrong of me reporting Jose at the time, because I was like, I'm reporting him. Like, I was already like so scared that if I report him, that they're gonna go to him. So I let her know the whole situation. I let her know from beginning to end. I tell her about my whole thing with my coworker best friends, and she's just like, she's appalled. She's like, what the well, she doesn't say what the fuck, but her face, you can tell like she's very appalled about the whole situation. She's like, write a letter in regards to this, and then write what your coworker said to you, and let your coworkers know, be aware that since you're writing this down, they will be called in to testify as a witness to this whole reoccurrence. And I wrote the letter, I took the letter in, I signed it, I dated it, I let my coworkers know. They were called in, they said what was stated, and he was called in eventually to HR. And the thing was that when he was called to HR, everybody in the warehouse knew. They were like, ooh, like, he got called to HR, but they didn't know for what or for whom or whatever. Like, they didn't know, except for my coworker friends. So the thing was that he got called in, he got written up, I don't know for what, but I just know that eventually I got called back into HR, and they're like, hey, like, he got written up, he can't speak to you, he can't do anything of that sorts. If he does try to retaliate in some kind of form, the next step would be to fire him. I was like, oh damn. And she's like, if you feel uncomfortable in some kind of aspects, if he makes any remarks, you can come back here and we can write a statement in regards to this. So from there, like, he avoided me like the plague. He thought I was gonna submit. He thought I was gonna like literally just let him run over me, but I didn't. I was just here like, I'm not gonna deal with that kind of crap. Granted, I'm not a conflict kind of person, but if you put me to the if you bring me to that point, I will take you to HR. Like, I don't know what I would do physically outside of the work environment, but if you do bring me to that point, I will bring you to HR. To that point, like, I was already looking for another job. I was like, I can't be here anymore. Like, I can't handle this. Like, the atmosphere was already tense. It got even more tense after the whole HR incident. I was looking for jobs. I was updating my resume. I was asking the customer service people, I'm like, hey, do you guys have an opening? Like, if you guys are, can I like sign up, whatever? Because over there, the thing that over there, they never let you know any other opportunities that are coming into that workplace. So you literally have to either go to the plant where HR is and where everything is and go and check, because they never posted anything. I think eventually somebody like reported it to HR and they started posting like the jobs that were open. So I had asked her, she's like, yeah, we have an opening, but it's not you're not going to earn as much as you do at the position that you currently are in. And I'm just here like, and that's when she was like, well, she like, at this point I didn't care who I told. She was like, well, why are you looking for a new position? I thought you were doing perfectly fine. So I let her know about the whole situation. She's like, oh, that's up, yada yada this, yada yada that. Eventually, there's these auditors that come into the warehouse to, you know, for paperwork, bills, invoices, the material, whatnot. And sometimes like they're looking for like a certain material and we have to go count it and they count with us. But the auditor that I had, she trusted me so much that she literally like, can you please go count this and let me know how much there is? And then from there we'll go through the system to see if it matches, and if it doesn't match, then we have to recount whatever. So I go count it one up, and then we go count it. But the thing is that this time it wasn't just her. She had brought somebody else because she was moving from region, and the new girl that was with her was going to take her position, and eventually I would have to talk to her in regards to any kind of audit paperwork she would need for, you know, for the corporate. So eventually, like, we're over there, we're counting. Old audit manager was looking at me and she was like, hey, you seem kind of tense, what's going on? I'm like, I noticed that you were tense with Jose. And at that point I literally didn't care. Like I said, I didn't care who I told, so I told them the whole shebang, and they're like, that's so up. And that's when she had told me like, hey, since she's taking my spot, her spot's going to be open. Like, I will let you know once it's open so you can take that spot so that you don't have to be over here anymore. And at that point I would be working in accounting, so I was already studying accounting. I was like, oh, that's great. So I was literally waiting for that position to be open. I was waiting for maybe a month or so, and eventually it was open. And the thing was that this was during like the holidays. It was already around the holiday season. I was waiting for this to be posted. I was eventually, I think November, December, it was posted. I signed my name. I was like, I don't give two shit signing my name. I signed my name, and people from the warehouse like, you're moving. I saw that you're moving. Like, why? Like, do you not love it here? And I looked at them like, you guys know why I'm moving. And that's when they looked at me like, yeah, we know. Like, anything that goes on in the warehouse, everybody knows. It's nothing new. I'm like, you guys know where I'm leaving. I know everybody here has been talking about it. I'm not stupid, and you guys aren't stupid either. And they were like, yeah, we know. Like, but don't leave. Like, you know, things can get better. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this toxic atmosphere anymore. Like, I literally don't want to be here anymore. Like, I love the job, but I just don't like the people. And some of them were like, yeah, we know, whatever. So eventually I had worked my last day, and then this guy has the audacity to be there on a Saturday. I'm trying to clean everything up, try to like finish whatever how-tos, PowerPoints for the next person to come. And the shift for that people, they literally throw a little party for me. They get Zaxby's hot wings, and then he's there, Jose's there. He's like, she's moving to the plant. Like, he's being such a asshole, being so smart and stuff, and he wanted me to give him a hug, and I'm like, I don't give hugs, whatever. They get me a cake. They're like, farewell, like, we'll miss you, so on and so forth. That, yeah. And eventually, like, I get the job. Technically I was supposed to like fight with this other girl to get the job, but she took my job. And then eventually there was issues when she got my job because she was always fucking up. and she was getting more help than I did. She got her own office. Like, a lot of people were complaining once I left on the way they were treating her, because people were like, she's like the manager's pet, like she gets everything she wants, so on and so forth. I was like, I genuinely don't care. And that man still started talking shit, saying that I always fucked up, that I was always wrong on count, so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, I was probably wrong on count most of the time because nobody wanted to help me. But once you hired her, or once she transferred, she got all the help she needed. Like, you can tell the difference of like priority, and like, she was just basically, out of the children, like if we were compared to children, she was a favorite one, and she was the one who got more help than I did. And to me, that's literally sucked ass. I was just feel like, what the why? But at that point I was like, I don't work there anymore. I don't give like, they can do whatever they want. I don't care. And sometimes he would come to the plant where I currently work, and I would see him and he would say hi, and I wouldn't say, because I'm like, dude, you made my life hard and you didn't have to make it hard, but you did. And sometimes I would get paperwork, I'm like, this isn't mine, you guys need to take it back there. Like, next time, can you please let them know that we don't need this paperwork anymore? My boss has already sent you an email. And he just looks at me like, oh, okay, thank you, and moves on with his day. Dude, I literally hate him. Like, literally, he's such a fucking hypocrite. But yeah, that's my story. I probably cursed more than ever in this one than the other ones. That's it. That's all I have to talk about. So, see the headache. I don't have the headache anymore. I don't know if it was a migraine, but I guess it might have helped. So, anywho, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. I hope that we can build this community bigger. You guys are watching me grow. I'm watching you guys grow with me. Like, I love you guys so much. You guys don't understand. I love you so much. I probably should get better at editing too, because I suck ass. But yeah, like, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will be uploading a mini vlog today, which is Friday, and this will be going up on Sunday. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to, like, subscribe, share, go to all my platforms, show me some love, show us some love. Let this community grow and flourish, so that one day I can become a full-time content creator. And whatever earnings I get, I will love to give it to the loved ones that deserve it, so that they don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry how much they have in their accounts. And yeah, because currently I have new goals that I have to reach and save. And honestly, I feel like with your guys' help, we will get there. And I will show you the goals completed once we get there. So thank you guys so much. I love you so much. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy, explore, get some vitamin D. You know what I mean. But yeah, I love you guys. Bye.